The Komoka Kings have their new head coach. My name is Dylan Baker, and welcome to the 8th episode of the second season of Kings Connected. Today it was announced by Roop Chanadat, president and GM of the Komoka Kings, that Adam Casey will be named the next head coach of the organization. Adam has spent the last year with the team as an assistant, so he's got a great knowledge of the front office, players, and assistant coach Mike Riatti, who will be staying on his staff. Adam's also got 25 plus years of coaching experience with the St. Mary's Lincolns as an assistant coach and as assistant GM and head coach of the London Nationals. Adam is very excited to get going, and I'm very excited to talk to him. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Here is the new head coach of the Komoka Kings, Adam Casey. The new head coach of the Komoka Kings, Adam Casey, joins me now. Adam, how are you? How does it feel to be head coach?
I'm good, Dylan. Thanks for asking. Pretty good. It's been a little busy the last couple of weeks, just kind of trying to finalize some things here and whatnot. But now that it's, official and whatnot, I feel pretty good about it and excited to get going with the team.
Awesome. So let's go into when you were officially named head coach. What was going through your mind when that happened?
Well, initially when Roop had approached me about being head coach, I just just want to take some time to really think about it and chat with my family and that sort of thing, just to make sure that you can make the commitment. It's a big commitment. At the same time, I was pretty excited, obviously for the opportunity to get behind the bench again and just the comfort level that I have there with Roop and Ray and Mike and the volunteers and that sort of thing and the players. Certainly made it, help in the decision making. And now that I've made the decision and we're moving forward, I'm really excited about, the next step and being part of the team and getting behind the bench and coaching.
Fantastic. Let's dive into your coaching career a little bit more. It was mentioned during our interview last season, but for those who may have missed it, you spent some time as an assistant with the St. Mary's Lincolns and as head coach and assistant GM of the London Nationals. How did that experience coaching help get you to where you are now as a head coach?
Well, I think every bit of experience in hockey, is a benefit, right? So, the more experience you can get, certainly in this league, the better you're going to be and the more it's going to help you. Again, like I mentioned in our last interview, I was fortunate to be, in St. Mary's. Merlin Malowski was the head coach. I was an assistant coach. I had a great time in that town and with that team and learned a ton from Merlin. Even with the Nationals and Barry Martinelli was the coach there, and I worked under Barry for a while. So I've been fortunate enough to be around a lot of really, really smart, good, hardworking hockey people and good people. And, you learn from that stuff and you take the good, the bad, and you sort of use that as your experience moving forward, sort of move that forward with guys that you're working with now in the Kings organization, with the players and with the coaches. So having an understanding or being able to be there and have an understanding of the league, how the league works, the type of player that is successful in this type of league and what it takes to have a successful organization. I think that helps me. It helps me relating with the players as well and kind of understanding, each player and where they're at and their goals, whether they're 16 or 20 years old and between. So certainly any experience that I've had with those organizations has been wonderful. Even with the junior Knights, the people that I've been able to work with there have been great. I just hope to continue that and continue to learn. And I've got a good opportunity here to work with some really good people as well and continue to learn more and in a great group of players as well. So again, looking forward to moving on and or moving forward and getting the season underway.
Glad you had such a positive experience in the past with the Nationals and St. Mary's Lincolns. And like you mentioned, it really gives you a chance to understand the league and dive into every successful player and what they are doing that can make others around them better. So we're excited to see you implement that with the Kings. When you were named head coach, it was also announced that Mike Riatti will stay on as one of your assistants. How much are you looking forward to continuing to work with Mike?
Well, Mike, he works hard. He's a very, very knowledgeable guy, with this league and with the players and different teams and such. He does a tremendous amount of work, him, Roop, Ray, in recruiting players, identifying talent, reaching out to these guys. It's a lot of work, to be able to recruit those players and have them come out and get in front of you. And Mike's done an amazing job of doing that. He's got a great eye for the game. Tremendously detailed. I'm going to lean on him a lot. He's got a great deal of experience both playing and coaching in the league. And, I'm really looking forward to working alongside with Mike. Absolutely.
Mike, as you mentioned, a very knowledgeable guy. He's always got stats. He's got every stat in the book for you. And he plays such a big role that maybe a lot of fans don't get to see because he's often behind the scenes when he's making his biggest impact, but a key piece of the organization. So we're glad to see him continue along with you with the Kings. You spent nearly a year in the Kings organization now as an assistant. What's it been like to get to know the front office, volunteers, and coaching staff?
Well, it's fun. I mean, last year obviously was a unique year for everybody. The league, I thought, certainly the organizations, group, they did their best to get the kids on the ice and to try to get to as close to, a normal hockey season as possible. And that was that was very difficult. So we played some games, we practiced that sort of stuff. So, being around that, and sort of seeing how hard it was to kind of maneuver through that stuff. It gives you, certainly an appreciation to be able to, sort of start a season off, that looks like regular hockey. For me, it was good just to be around the players and to get to know some of those players. We still have those players around as our core group. To be around Mike and Roop and those guys like yourself, the volunteers, to see how much work they put into it as well. So it was a good feeling, and certainly it helped. When Roop and I talked about this position, that played a big factor in it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, originally coming into the season, obviously my head was, in the mind frame of being an assistant coach, and, things change. And so when it came to making that decision, having that experience with this group over the last 12 months, certainly, helped me to say yes and to step into this role.
For sure. Knowing where you're going and knowing the place where you're going to take that next step up as a coach is so huge, because it's tough to walk into a place you don't know and take on such a big role. But having that year of experience in Komoka under your belt, like you mentioned, it was a unique one. There was not much hockey played, just the exhibition games really against the London Nationals in December. But you got to know a few of the people around the organization. And so I'm sure that was a big factor, as you mentioned. And you mentioned also that you familiarized yourself with a lot of the guys last year who were returning as the core group of Kings players this year. How important is that knowledge of the players as you transition to your new role?
Well, I think it is huge. I mean, certainly, like I said, Mike, Ray, and Roop, they do a tremendous job at recruiting players and knowing, who's available and what sort of spots we have to fill. But as a coach, obviously you get a feel for when you have those core guys coming back, what are the areas, what are the spots that we need to look for and fill. But it also in junior B, there's a lot of player turnover in junior B, and to be able to be successful, in my opinion, which is hard to do, is to try to keep as much of that core together as you possibly can for an extended period of time. So, because you're always looking, obviously, for the immediate, like for this year, but you're also looking down the road, and that helps sort of stabilize that association, or your organization helps to attract new players. So with the group that we have there, that core group that want to be there, that they've been there through, what we had to go through last year, they're still there. They're excited to get playing hockey. And we've got this new young group coming in as well that are filling in those spots and those roles. And it really is a good dressing room. It has good chemistry. It's just got a really nice feel to it right now. With all the players that we have in that mix. So certainly being able to be there last year and become familiar with those core guys, is going to definitely help me, because I'm going to lean on those guys as well. We've got some good leadership in our captains and Mac and Louis. So I'm going to work with those guys and lean on those guys too, to help us sort of get off to a good start here.
Absolutely. Those core guys are so huge. And when you keep the same core around with the team, they really begin to play for each other. And that chemistry continues to build. And it's so huge at whatever level you're playing, and especially here in Junior B. I know you just recently got the head coaching position with the Kings, but do you have any goals set for the team this year?
Well, I think right now, quite honestly, short term really is I think our priority. I mean, for the last couple of weeks, like I said, there's some big unknowns here. And in fairness to the players, I think it's important that, now that we've decided what direction we're going to go in, I think it's very important that we start to establish a culture and start to establish a routine and sort of our look. What are we going to look like? And start to have that structure in our preparation and our practice and our games. So really right now, I think short term, is really where we're looking, is to kind of get this thing going now that we're starting to become, a little bit more concrete in our direction. And I think in fairness to players, we need to do that. And I think they're anxious to do that. And I think that's sort of where we're looking right now. Of course, long-term, you're always looking just to continue to build and grow. And this organization has done that in the last number of years. I just hope to step in and do my part to help them continue to move in the right direction. Everybody wants to win a championship, and that's our goal at some point here. But right now we're looking short term just to get things going on the right foot.
Yeah, that's fair, because obviously with no official head coach in place for a while, it's tough to implement a system. It's tough to tell players, hey, this is what you can expect from the coaching staff. This is what we expect from you on the ice. Establishing those expectations can now be done now that you're officially cemented as the head coach of the Kings for this year. Final question for you. If you had one message to deliver to players and fans as we rapidly approach the new season, what would it be?
Welcome back. I mean, it's been a long time. It's just to be in the rink now, and to be able to experience some sort of normalcy when it comes to playing hockey. Full benches, fans in the stands. It's good for everybody. It's a good feeling for everybody, and everybody was anxious to get back to this. We've all heard the old story. You don't recognize something until it's gone. And for the last year and a half, we haven't had that. And I think overall right now, it's just welcome back. Let's get back to playing hockey. Let's get back to doing what we do, having fun doing it. But let's get back to work and enjoy ourselves here.
It's an exciting time to be sure as hockey returns. Adam, congratulations once again, and thank you so much for joining the show today.
Awesome. Thanks, Nolan. Take care.
That was my interview with Adam Casey, the new head coach of the Komoka Kings. And in talking to Adam, you really hear that experience shine through. He understands what it takes to win in this league. He understands what kind of player succeeds at the junior B level, and he's looking to implement that here with the Komoka Kings. He wants to make sure that everybody is having the best season they possibly can and develop them to potentially get to the next level and for team success as well. So he's very excited to get going with the Kings, and I'm very thankful that I had the chance to chat with him once again. It's always a pleasure to talk to a guy like Adam, who's been around the game for such a long time and who really understands every aspect of hockey, especially at the junior B level. So thank you once again to Adam for joining the show, and we thank all of you for tuning in. This has been episode 8 of the second season of Kings Connected. We'll talk to you again shortly with another episode.